welcome to another edition of Microsoft with Makayla. I'm Makayla Mota, the Partner Marketing Specialist here at Connection, and today I'm joined by Amy Gringsby, a commercial executive at Microsoft, who came to go over the upcoming changes to the education licenses that are coming in August 2024. Hi, Amy. Thanks so much for coming today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sure, of course. I'm excited. So Amy is here, as I said, to go over some of the changes that are coming to EDU licenses. So why don't we start with the Office 365 A1 Plus license? So the way I understand it, Amy, is the Office 365 A1 Plus program is scheduled to be retired on August 1st, 2024. Amy, could you maybe just give us some more information about what the program is and why it's being retired?
Yeah, of course. So I think one of the things that's really important to understand is there's two offerings that are named very similarly, and
Okay.
I want to make sure we understand what's going away and what's staying. So Office 365 A1 is staying. It's going to stay free for educators, and you can continue to order that through your reseller.
Okay.
A1 Plus was that license plus the Office piece. That's the one that's going away. And one of the
Uh-huh.
reasons that it was created is back in about 2015 when it was launched, a lot of schools hadn't set up online tenants yet and they weren't ready to be managing it. So what Microsoft did is they injected a bunch of licenses into pre-made tenants so that when a school would submit a request saying that, we would like to be able to access these licenses, it would spin up so they could start deploying those and move forward. Now that
Okay.
we've progressed in time, most IT has taken over those tenants and manages their online portals themselves. So we're removing that now because really the need isn't there. And also what it did is it created some non-compliant manners where schools were giving the licenses to people who weren't actually supposed to be licensed with them. So in an attempt to streamline things and make it easier for customers to understand who should have what, we're just going to remove that from the tenant.
Okay. No, thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying. That makes so much sense. And like you said, with similar names, it can be really
Mhm.
easy to kind of confuse the two. So I appreciate that
Yeah.
info. So what would an EDU customer need to know if they were using the A1 Plus program, prior to that August 1st retirement
Sure.
date?
Yeah. So for preparing for that to go away, customers should do probably one of two things.
Mhm.
Either they move the customer to full Office 365 A1, which is still free, it just doesn't
Okay.
include the Office suite, or they move them to the paid option, which they're covering the rest of their accounts with. So whether that's M365 A3, A5, that way they still get to keep the Office components and get more. So it's usually one of those two paths.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so that was super helpful. Kind of moving on to the next change, which is
Mhm.
regarding storage. So, beginning again on August 1st, 2024, or at your next renewal, all school tenants will receive 100 terabytes of
Mhm.
pooled storage, and that goes across OneDrive, SharePoint, and Exchange. And
Mhm.
then you also have the ability to purchase additional storage for A3 or A5 subscriptions. So, do you want to just go into a little more detail of kind of what that change really is and what that means for schools?
Sure. So yeah, so each tenant, regardless of their size, is going to get the 100 terabytes. On top
Okay.
of that, you get 50 gigabytes for every M365 A3 license or 100 gigabytes for every A5 license that you have,
Oh, okay.
M365 A5. So for each of those, you'll get that for the employee licenses. Students will use the storage, but they do not contribute since it is a $0 SKU. So one of the reasons we're doing this is the unlimited storage is just unfortunately it's not tenable. It's not sustainable to keep unlimited. Unfortunately, they always say the few ruin it for the many. There was a lot of people who were and a lot of individuals who were storing their entire backups in there and
Yeah.
storing we've seen through some of the comment channels that people were storing things that were never intended to be in there. On
Okay.
top of it, yeah, Microsoft is also really committed to being environmentally friendly. And the more things that we store in there in this type of storage, it impacts our impact on the environment. And
Oh,
so
okay.
it's something that as we take that very serious and we want to make sure we're being good stewards. And
Yeah.
so we really need to make sure that we are being smart with the assets. And we've done the analysis, and I think it's 98% of the customers will not see any impact. They will be well within those
Yeah.
limits. If
Okay.
If you fall above those limits, there's a lot of things that we can start doing. Sometimes what it is going and doing some account cleanup. Sometimes when it's unlimited, there it's not as rigorous of a cleanup activity, and so sometimes things grow and grow. But if we go through and clean up accounts where people are no longer here, things like that, a lot of times that can help reduce storage. If that
Okay.
still doesn't help, we can always talk between your partner or Microsoft and just evaluate what are some really good next steps and some good best practices.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Amy. This has
My
been just
pleasure.
really, really helpful.
Mhm.
If you'd like to read some more details regarding these changes, you can see our blog post on the Connected blog that's linked here. You can always reach out to your Connection account team with any questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thanks again, Amy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.